Africa is losing out on tens of billions of rand due to tax abuse by big business and the super wealthy. The 2021 State of Tax Justice report found that 54 billion rand was siphoned from the country's tax coffers over the past year, and the amount would cover the entire annual budgets of the Departments of Justice, Home Affairs and Science, Technology and Innovation, with change to spare. Well, Jaco Oelofsen, a researcher at the Alternative Information and Development Centre, contributed to this report, and he joins us now. Jaco, thank you so much for joining us. This report says that South Africa is losing 50 billion rand a year as big corporations shift their money offshore. Who are some of the biggest perpetrators in providing these tax havens?
Thank you. So what the report says is that some of the biggest perpetrators are mostly countries within the global north, within the OECD especially. There's what's known as the axis of tax avoidance, which includes Switzerland, Luxembourg, the Netherlands, and the United Kingdom and the United Kingdom's dependent territories, such as Bermuda and the British Virgin Islands. And these are really where the heart of the tax haven industry is.
We're looking at global losses of $483 billion worldwide, and the UK provides some of this tax avoidance in certain of its territories, such as the Cayman Islands. We know Jersey's a big one. Why does the OECD allowed to get away with this by the rest of the world?
So that's a very good question. I think one of the key issues is that the OECD really holds the majority of power in terms of decision making when it comes to international tax law. We see that recently there's been a push by the OECD to institute a global minimum tax rate and changes to international tax law. But these changes have developed in a way that largely favors OECD countries despite massive pushback. And in this process of pushback, we've seen the OECD countries really exercise their power in terms of discarding the criticisms that have been put forward by developing countries. So I think that process really stands as symbolic of the kind of power that they hold in terms of determining the international economic framework.
Yeah, I'm playing devil's advocate here, but if I was extremely wealthy or had a massive corporation, why wouldn't I use tax havens in order to save money, giving to a government that I didn't particularly believe were going to use my tax revenue correctly?
I think that is a lot of the thinking behind why many of the large corporations do this. But at the end of the day, it's about maximizing profits in terms of corporate group revenue. And I don't think that you could say that because tax revenue is not being used well, that is a reason to take money out of the country, because the loss of this tax revenue is partially what has led to the kind of disintegration and crumbling of the state, especially in the underfunding of key departments.
And as you were saying, it is, as the report says at least, is that poorer countries are hit the hardest. Well, that was Jaco Oelofsen. He contributed to the 2021 State of Tax Justice report.